What's up, everybody? This is your girl Erica from the Classy Climb blog. I just came in from the gym, y'all. They got me good. I had to wipe the sweat off, get right. You guys, I know how important it is for you guys to pivot your fall into higher money making activities, get yourself secured. Y'all be talking about getting the bag. Listen, you ain't got to grind 24/7. You just have to elevate your skills. And so that brings me to share with y'all lots of beautiful, wonderful, talented Tech Tuesday guests. And again, this show is titled How to Make 200,000 While at Home with Tech with your host, Subzero from Lifting the Veil Academy. You guys, we always put his number right there on the screen. You guys can reach out to him, text him for consultations and get set up. But we're going to let him introduce himself and his lovely co-host. Kick it off for us, Mr. Subzero.
Hey, what's going on? I am Subzero from Riverboat Brawl, Montgomery, Alabama. You know,
I forgot you from there.
yeah, that's my hometown, man. That's my
And the
hometown.
boat was called Harriet.
Harriet too. You know what I'm saying? I used to go down there as a kid and skim rocks across that right where they was fighting at. But anyway, um, yeah. So I'm from Montgomery, Alabama. I'm Alabama. I've been in IT for going on 14, 15 years. Um, I've been able to help a lot of people get into tech. Where God bless me. I really do believe this brother that is helping me is a godsend, literally. Like, he's dependable, responsible. He does stuff I don't even ask him to do, and that's Javon Swint. He is actually a heavy hitter. He was actually speaking at the Blackest Tech conference about a week and a half ago. Basically what we do at Lifting the Veil, just in case you want to know, because I didn't say that, we train people in different skill sets. Now, Javon has a myriad of skill sets that line up with Azure, what is it? Artificial intelligence, because he's already worked for these companies. You can actually go and see his LinkedIn, as well as one of his skill sets. The initial skill set that I called him for was data engineering. That was the initial skill set that we talked about, and that's right down his alley. But we wound up getting in with different skill sets. Like, for example, he taught a data science class. We've gotten like 5 people certified already. That class ended on the 22nd of July, and we got 5 people. So he's doing a bang up job. Blockchain just ended. The initial blockchain class. What we decided to do was combine those into an artificial intelligence / blockchain. And he explained why, because of things like Sam Bankman-Fried and that little company, that little scam where he got away with all that money. So companies are getting away from people just writing code and just trusting that they won't create a back door to steal people's money. We finally have gotten around to the data engineering piece of the course, because data engineering is something that would fit like a glove with the data analytics stuff that I taught all my former students. I was teaching them some legacy systems, like, for example, SSRS, SSIS, and I taught some Power BI. Shout out to my homeboy Marvin. He's one of my students. He's teaching Tableau, and then they're going to dabble in some Power BI and finish up the data analytics class. But the thing is, we taught SQL and different things like that. This is the continuation into the new systems that they're having right now, which are which is Azure. Everything's based in the cloud and stuff like that. Now, let Javon go in on how it works, but ultimately what we're going to do is we're going to have you focus on 2 different certifications: Azure Data Fundamentals, as well as Azure what's the other one? Data Engineering, or on Microsoft Azure. Now, you could just go and take the data engineering certification straight out, and if that's what you want to do, then by all means do that. But we advise, in order for you to get a brief overview of what's going on, do DP 900 first as a confidence booster. It's more of an introduction to everything. Then you go in depth, and that's what we're going to do the remainder of the time. This class will probably be 5 months. I don't think we can do this in 4 months. It's a lot of information. So this will probably be 5 months, and that's where we are right now. So Javon, gave introduction. Like I said, this brother, very impressive brother. Good dude, trustworthy. You know, you can turn your back. You ain't got to worry about him stabbing you. I call him, hey man, I was thinking about this last month. I talked to him. He done did something I didn't even tell him to do with the students to try to help the students out. He's going making phone calls. He's getting companies to try to come into the classes and watch the students as they're learning. We're trying to focus on getting students handed off directly to organizations. That is my mindset. That is our energy. That's what we're focusing on. I call him and talk his ear off because y'all can see. As y'all can see, I can talk. So I call him and I'd be like, man, I was just thinking, man, what about this? What about that? You know, so we kind of brainstorm and bounce off each other. And he's been a significant help. And but this is the initial reason I contacted him in the first place was for this class. So without further ado, I introduce Javon Swin. What's up, brother?
Yeah, I appreciate that. So that is true. The first time we talked, it was about data engineering. And Eric, I appreciate you taking the time to organize this for us so we can explain to people. Okay, so I'm gonna jump right in it. Okay, so you've been hearing about the AI bug. You've been hearing about the blockchain bug. You've been hearing about all this technology. Now, let me tell you what's, in my personal opinion, one of the most slept on skills. And even, I mean, I got a, pretty decent tech background. I've been in it, a few years and stuff like that. I did things from like offensive cybersecurity, but I more so work for like government and military. So I pretty much take assignments and from contracts and stuff like that, and I pretty much get it done. But with everyone bit with this AI bug, because I'm an AI champion, and with everyone bit with this blockchain bug, people are forgetting one of the most keyest principles in technology is data engineering. I don't care how advanced AI is. I don't care how well ChatGPT do. It's those data engineers that take structured files and unstructured files. They take raw files and they make the information readable so that the artificial intelligence can actually read it. So right now we live in a day and age where it's hard to trust people. It's hard to trust information. You got everybody that coming out with these AI websites, and it's like, well, how do I know which AI, like, how do I know a good AI from a bad AI? That's not really a conversation people are talking about yet, because everybody's using any AI tool that come out there. I'm a pioneer for AI, but those data engineers, I started off as a data engineer, and those data engineers basically have the ability to take information no one wants to look at, or it is overly confusing for them to look at. And the data engineer uses the Microsoft Azure tools to make that information readable. Then the data engineer hands it off to the data scientist. The data scientist then takes that ETL pipeline and ELT pipeline that you created, because typically you assign storage first. You come to a job setting, they may give you 15 terabytes of storage that's you're assigned to. You pretty much prepare it for the data scientist and the AI engineer, and then they load that information into the model. The problem with AI right now is anyone can load any information into the AI. Now, with blockchain, harder to crack. But guess who's going to load the information into the blockchain and also into the AI? The data engineer. The data scientist is not going to do it. The data engineer is literally going to come in and say, look, I know y'all know all this new technology. Y'all know all this advanced technology. I got a few structured files, unstructured files, and some raw files I put together. I cleaned up the information. I cleaned up the duplicates. I'm ready to insert this data engineer model into a blockchain solution or into an artificial intelligence solution. So I work in blockchain and AI. So when I'm talking to the data engineers, long story short, I build trading algorithms for the bank. And so when I'm building these algorithms, basically as an algorithm developer, I'm like depending on the data engineer to give me the right information. So when I take the information and transfer it into artificial intelligence, it's the correct information. So some people, they're like, well, hey, I want to learn AI. Hey, I want to learn this and that. Now, it is good to have those skill sets. But when I tell you, we call it an old boy business. You know how to do data engineering. I don't care if computers know how to fly. They need that data engineer to kind of bring balance to this innovation. Because I'm in the AI, I build AI all day, but I always talk to my data engineers. I'm saying, hey, because here the thing is, a I can take a messy file. I can take a bad structured file. I could take a bad unstructured file, and I can load it into an AI. And the one thing about AI is only as good as whoever implements the information. That data engineer is going to be key to the blockchain industry and the AI industry, only because data engineering is so like traditional, so manual, it's so like what I would call old school, that even though you have this new innovation, them data engineers gonna make sure that those files are structured correctly. Or if it's an unstructured file, they're gonna know how to necessarily clean it up a certain way to get it exactly what you need so you can upload it to the blockchain. So the blockchain pretty much will make sure that the information is transparent. And if anybody made any changes or used the information, it shows up in the hash graph. The artificial intelligence basically says, okay, I have the information. I know exactly what I'm doing. Let me get the job done. But then you have Sam Bankman-Fried. You have those situations. And it's like, well, what happened? How did Sam Bankman-Fried become a Bankman-Fried? Well, they didn't have accounting in place. They wasn't doing double entry accounting. They wasn't keeping up with accounts and receivables. The data engineer would have organized Sam Bankman-Fried to not necessarily collapse. The AI engineer could have helped, but if the AI engineer does not have a good data source, the AI will give bad answers. So then it's like, well, who is missing on the team? It's that data engineer. My personal belief, I felt like if Sam Bankman-Fried had a data engineer on the team, because remember, Sam, he ran off with like maybe 20, 30 billion. I think the data engineer could have took all the crypto data. They could have took all that information about the exchanges. They could have took all the account users information, and the data engineer could have created an ELT or an ETL pipeline. ELT stands for extract, load, and transform, and ELT stands for extract. I'm sorry. It's I'm sorry. ELT stands for extract, load, and transform, and ETL stands for extract, transform, and load. And so, had they had a day, I'm pretty sure they had all the artificial intelligence engineers. I'm pretty sure they had all the data scientists with the machine learning. I'm pretty sure, but that data engineer was key because the data engineer said, "Hey, we got over X amount of dollars in our exchange. If you're trying to run off with 20 billion, you would need to structure the information after run off with 20 billion. If we take all the information of the traders and the exchange and the platform and put it in the ETL or ELT pipeline, handed it off to the data scientists to create a machine learning solution on, hey, I want to take 20 billion from my company, but I want to make sure my investors still are taken care of. Based on the data that is entered, how will we do that? So the AI engineer would have created a prompt to create the solution. The data engineer would have loaded the information, and then the data scientist would have monitored the machine learning model to basically tell Sam Bankman-Fried, look, take 10 billion. The remaining 10 billion, give it back to your shareholders. In 6 months, you'll be able to recoup that back. The data engineer would have basically took that information and would have prevented Sam Bankman-Fried from being a Bankman-Fried. He could have still got his same $20 billion and then not have ran off. He could have just still got the same. So it's those data engineers, because those data engineers is really raw, is really robust. So anyway, but in my opinion, data engineering is one of the easiest jobs to get, because you got a lot of people who going into artificial intelligence like me. You got a lot of people who going into blockchain like me, and there's nothing wrong with that. But these data engineers, they're cranking up this pay structure for the data engineers, because the blockchain engineer, he or she, it or they come in as a blockchain engineer. They got the information they need, but the problem is these hackers know how to get into the blockchain. And so even though the blockchain engineer is the engineer, The blockchain engineer doesn't really necessarily know how to protect the systems. So then you have the AI engineer who takes the information from the blockchain engineer, and then the hacker knows how to confuse the AI. So then it's like, man, how do you defeat, or how do you like neutralize yourself against these people? Like, I work in government, so we talk about stuff like this all the time. That data engineer has to come in and process information a certain way to alert the artificial intelligence of a potential threat. Meaning, long story short, it's like a security guard at the door. He pats you down to make sure you good to go. That's the data engineer. The data engineer is like the security guard. He like, hold on, you need this specific information for the model. So the data engineer makes sure everything good. They make sure the dots are crossed, the T's and all that. You know that sin I'm talking about. Then the data engineer makes sure that the information is clean. Long story short, you take a immature file, a file that got a lot of issues, and you pass it to the blockchain engineer, who installs that information on the blockchain, who then the AI engineer creates the API key to basically use the blockchain. Now you got bad information because the data engineer didn't prepare it correctly. So now the blockchain information is inaccurate, and now the AI information is malfunction. Now you have a huge hole in your system for someone to exploit, and they're going to have a field day with you. So those data engineers, not to get left behind, even the data analysts, even if you know how to do Salesforce, they're retraining those skill sets to fit the current innovation. I just learned this maybe 3-4 days ago. So the data engineers 3 years ago, they're being transitioned to almost an autonomous data engineer. So the data engineer, I'll say back in 2000, I was going to say 1990, 2019, 2020, the data engineer had to do a lot of, physical, what I would call legwork. The new data engineers that they're building, Microsoft specifically, they're making the data engineer, they're like, look, you don't have to learn AI, but we're going to automate your data engineering experience. That's what Microsoft Azure decided to do. They say, look, you don't have to be the AI expert, but we're just going to give you that, I call it a fulcrum. We're going to give you that fulcrum that you can use to basically correct this information. So the data engineer was once last place. Now the data engineer is so important. It can't even place first. It's above first place at this point.
Hey
Because
guys,
right now,
go
go
ahead.
ahead. No, go
Now I
ahead.
was going to say that I remember when we first got on here. This was months ago when we first came on, Ericka. We were talking about the fields, the highest paying fields, and I remember sharing my screen. Data analytics, we brought you that. Data scientists, we brought you. Those are like, and they said data scientists was the highest paying. But then also now a lot of information is coming out about blockchain and artificial intelligence. We just went to the conference. That's all everybody was talking about. But data engineering, you can't have any of this without data engineering. So this is yet another integral part of the infrastructure that is being built. We can't stress enough the importance of familiarize yourself with what's coming down the pipe for the future. And I think a lot of people are getting left behind, and particularly in the Black community, because we always aren't in the room when these decisions are being made. And we're here to tell you, hey, the decisions are being made. I know it's expensive to get a lot of these skill sets, which is why we do what we do. And I'm gonna tell you like this: the way we work. I'm gonna tell you straight up. If you come here and you got I always say your steel toe boots and your hard hat and your gloves, you come in here ready to work, we got you. It may take you months to get a job. I don't make any strong guarantees like, oh, we guarantee jobs. No, I don't do that. What I do is I tell the truth. You're gonna have to get out there. You're gonna have to interview. We'll help you with your resume. We'll help you when you do the interview by listening to it and telling you where you're screwing up at. We just had a meeting last night with the data science people. They're not subscribed. They're not paying us a dime. But I told them, I said, we're going to still help you guys. Send us your resume, do whatever. And we're going to continue correspondence with these people. And as long as you're willing to go out and keep trying and keep applying for jobs, you will hit your target. When? I can't say. It might take you 3 months. I had a student got his job. What was it? I had a student get a job. The class ended in June. It took him about a month to interview with me. He interviewed around the 25th, 26th, somewhere in there. I can't remember. But he got a job like a week ago. I think he's starting this Monday coming up, right? But that was not always the case. Students don't always get jobs that fast. I have students that get jobs that fast. I talk about it, but then I got students that took 5 months to get a job, and they kept trying and trying and trying. Like, man, it's hard. Exactly, which is why we're here. It's gonna be hard. A lot of people quit, and a lot of people quit because I understand life happens, and we're talking 6-figure skill sets in the sense that you might be like, well, are they paying $200,000? Probably not for one job with just a little experience on your resume. No, but what we will say is, we tell you always work a job remote, get acclimated to that position, what it requires. After about 6-7 months, get you another job. That's how I've been able to get north of 200,000. Was just doing 2 jobs simultaneously. It's not that difficult once you understand what is required from each job. If a job is requiring too much, oftentimes I say, hey man, look for something else. I got one student that got a job out in California, and they worked him like a Hebrew slave. I was like, bro, that's I mean, it was Saturday. They were getting upset and wanted him to get on the computer. I'm like, bro,
Not a Hebrew slave.
yeah, like they were doing him so wrong. I was like, man, come on. I said, bro, that's not normal. But he didn't know. He's like, is this? I say, no, that's not normal. I've been doing this for years. Nobody's gonna bother you on your week. Most of the time in tech, people don't bother you on a Saturday. But he showed me they upset because they want him to do some stuff on. I'm like, wait a minute, you working, 12 hours a day. I mean, he literally was getting up at 8 to 8 every day. And then on the weekend, he flew out. We all met out in Vegas. Some of the students were hanging out, and they were asking him to do some stuff. And he showed me. I said, bro, you need to get another job. But guess what? If you don't know any better, if you don't have anybody that's been in the game, that's a vet that you can talk to like that, a lot of times you'll just think that's normal. And particularly us as African Americans, we don't really have a lot of people we can really reach out to that'll tell us, hey, this is how it should work, young blood. Don't do this. Don't do that. That's where Javon comes in. And quite frankly, that's where a lot of former students come in. Because I have stuff going on now with students that I don't even know about. And they tell me, oh, yeah, man, we was meeting up and so-and-so told. I was like, oh, I didn't know that. So it's a lot of things that's going on out here with people trying to help people, get where they got to go. And so the thing is, for most of you guys, and I always try to make this requirement, man, just come in and give us 160 hours of studying. If you come in and you give us 2 hours a day, 5 days a week for 4 months, you will be on point. Where at the end of the course, you'll be very close to being certified. And that's what we want, because most people don't do that. Just follow directions. That's what we're going to tell you next week when we start class, which begins on Tuesday. And on the website, we have Salesforce. Salesforce is starting, but I'm trying to get the instructor. Something's going on. I don't know. I think she's having an emergency or something like that. But we are starting Salesforce next week as well. Salesforce is basically a declarative form of customer relationship management, which it's basically all based in the cloud. You log into it and you don't have to actually learn how to code. There's no coding involved at all. Salesforce is for those people that want to get in that don't necessarily want to code, but you want to make the money as if you code. So you can also get in with that, and we have a class starting. That class starts Monday. This class right here, data science, this class starts Tuesday.
Salesforce starts Monday. Data science starts Tuesday.
Yes.
Okay, I'm putting that in the description.
In the class, the hours of the class are 8 p.m. So Mondays and Wednesdays for Salesforce, 8 p.m. Tuesdays and Thursdays, 8 p.m. for the data engineering. And then on Saturday mornings, I think is 12:30, Javon, for the data engineering?
Yeah, 12:30.
Yeah, so it's 12:30, and then on Saturday morning we do 10 o'clock for the Salesforce. So, but everything, the portals and everything's aren't set up. I just started changing the website today because we had artificial intelligence up there. So schedule your consultation. And like I said, code Ericka, Ericka. Code Ericka will get you $97 off the first month. All you got to do is put down $200. That's all you got to do. Put that down. We'll meet with you 3 days a week. You'll get in the Facebook group. You'll have a live class session. That nobody's gonna do that. I know people that's trying to charge 2,500 and you don't know if you're gonna even pass the done certification test. So you got people out here doing stuff like that. So I don't want that. And I want my students to come in, and one of the things I take very seriously is our reputation and our name. So I try to go above and beyond. I always go in the group. Hey guys, call me. I give my phone number out. Call me, text me. If you don't mind calling me and talking to me, and I'm very easy to talk to. You don't mind talking to me, I'm definitely going to try to help you. The only reason you don't get my help is because you chose not to say anything to me. That's what I do. I'm on the phone all day, every day with people. I done probably had 6 or 7 calls today from different people that got issues. They need help on certain things. They're trying to figure stuff out. I'm either pointing them in the right direction, saying, hey, Javon's going to talk about this, or some of them reach out to Javon for emails or texts and stuff. They talk to him, but he's easy to reach as well. I just want you guys to know that that's what we dedicate and focus on. My whole, thing is about helping African Americans matriculate into tech, and that's not easy because most of the time we don't get in. And for those of us that do, a lot of us have this elitist energy, like, oh well, I went to college, I got my degree, I did my internships. I worked 5 years at this company and I got into $100,000 worth of debt while I was going through school. And I got this, and this is how I got here. How dare you go to some company for 4, 5 months, and then all of a sudden you jump back out there and you sitting right next to me making the same exact amount of money I'm making. That's the energy you get from a lot of people in tech, is that they don't want to see other people coming in with that type of money. You know what I'm saying? And so what I'm saying is, ultimately, I want you guys to understand that is not what's required to get into this game. What's required to get into this game is competency. If, in a good example, I heard Javon say this, and I'm gonna let him talk. Javon said, if I go, I may not be a neurosurgeon, but if you go and watch a neurosurgeon for 6, 7 months straight every day, you looking over his shoulder, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? Will you be as competent as an actual neurosurgeon? No. But will you be able to come in and do things like a neurosurgeon? You would. Now, that's how we used to do things. It was called apprenticeship. We've moved away from that. Now you got to go to college. And now you got to go, and you get out of college, you get a computer science degree. There is no concentration. You're going to know .NET, and that's about it. You're probably not going to have, a lot of these colleges aren't trying to get people internships. That's an antiquated way of thinking. Why go into debt when you could pay, 4 or 5 months for a class, and the next thing you know, you look up, you right alongside somebody. I got students working next to people that went to school and got computer science degrees and master's degrees. One of my students got a job as a supervisor over a guy with a master's degree, and he had no experience. Like, this is the type of stuff we do. We try to get you in to the place where you can get in, and guess what? He's competent. He's still there. He's been there going on about 7 months now. So we're not just talking about somebody that got in and he was faking it and now he's fired. He having a comfortable. He's like, man, I love my job. And he came in, with a significant amount of money. So that's how that worked. But is that Javon? Somebody else on here?
Yeah. Javon was. I guess he's trying to fix his one of his screens. So.
Oh, okay.
Whichever one works, John. Unmute one and not the other.
I can hear. I just connected both of my devices because my other device was giving issues.
Before you start, Javon, real quick, I was going to say what Bill was saying is a lot of times you guys understand, once you get into these ecospheres and you start feeling the office, like you get in the office a little bit, you can see how people dress, how people talk, how people act and move, and you can move accordingly. You know what I mean? Like, just always be smart, like be advancing yourself in the afternoons just for you, right? When somebody come ask you something and maybe you don't know, but after a while you should be competent enough to be able to respond quickly and don't let people talk smack to you. That's all I'm saying. Because we're all getting paid. You know what I mean? We show up, we do our job, we get paid. So good.
Yeah, that's definitely very true. And see, the concept that and I heard Sub just say this. If you go into it, I'll say it like this: you go into we are in a position now where a lot of these companies, these HR managers, these, hiring managers, they do not have the bandwidth to find the talent. So, like, for example, some people say that they feel that the tech is not hiring, where you're true and also not true. Some of these companies hire these new HR managers that have no experience so that they don't have to pay them that maximum salary. They can pretty much take an entry level hiring manager, tell them what to do, then they scope the talent. So the benefit of, in my opinion, of you guys coming to what we're doing, I more so go about getting a job based on the algorithm. I had did, over 538 job applications, and I got a, 10-year tech history. I wasn't getting no job. And I had certifications, I had the history, I had letters of recommendations, and I was feeling like, okay, you guys are lying. You saying you're hiring, but you ain't hiring me. Y'all ain't hiring, y'all lying. Something ain't right. So I realized now, after the COVID pandemic, job qualifications are there, but the people who are looking over the information are newbies. So they give them softwares like Yardi and different other softwares that uses an algorithm to pick the employee. So as of right now, for example, just to give you guys a simple thing, Canva, the reason why Canva is worth a lot of money, Canva developers build their resume templates that go with the social media algorithms. For example, an algorithm may say your resume needs to have the shape of a dodecagon. It needs to have 200 letters starting with the letter A. It needs to have 32 consonants, 15 vowels per paragraph. And who know that? Don't nobody know that. That's why a lot of you people will have this IT experience. You'll have all these certifications. You'll have all this, but then you're not getting an IT job. And it's just because the people who are hiring now, they're literally strictly off algorithms. Meaning, for example, I'm helping a student now with their resume. So that current algorithm, you need to have what is called a dodecagon shape, meaning you need to have 12 45-degree angle points on your shape of your resume. So you see people resumes, they got these squares, circles, and rectangles. They want you to have like a dodecagon, which is a 12-sided figure, but they want you to have it a certain way. And so Microsoft badges, when you get your certification, Microsoft badges are incongruent with the new algorithm. So you would use like a Canva, a Microsoft certification. The way you get jobs now is algorithm based. It's not even, I'm gonna be honest with you, it's not even if you know what you're doing. Because I know I got friends who know what they're doing. They from China, they from India. It's not about it. And how the Chinese and the Indians get jobs before us, they know the algorithm. That's why they can go from Bangladesh to the United States in 30 minutes and get a 6-figure job. Meanwhile, you got the certification, you from the United States, and people still saying, "Well, we'll call you back next week." But then you get the Indian guy who ain't never been in America, never set foot in America, and he getting paid $17 million an hour. I'm cracking a joke, but it's just because they know how to fool the algorithm. So, like, long story short, my family in the gas station business. I grew up with Indians my whole life. I know exactly how they get their IT jobs. They just trick the software, so that's why they get hired. And then they don't come through a recruiter. So my homeboy Sanji literally was living in Bangladesh. He was making $10 a month, folding clothes. Sanji was like, "Man, nah, Javin. Let me I'm gonna get a job. Let me show you how I do it." Sanji was getting $10 a month, messed around. Sanji moved to Atlanta, got him a job paying $167, and he was only making $10 a month. I said, "Sanji, how do you do this? Like, you don't even have a citizenship here." He was like, "My friend, is just the algorithm. You create everything a certain way, the technology approves you, you got the job. It's not because I'm Indian. It's because I just know how to use the technology. They don't care if I'm Indian. They want me to pass the technology." So nowadays, people are using the technology to hire people, not even necessarily the person. So what I've came to realize is that you ain't gonna get no tech job unless you know the algorithm. But who really knows the algorithm? Nobody. You can't call Instagram and Instagram emails you the algorithm. You typically have to have a social media attorney who reaches out to their compliance team and their terms and conditions and privacy department. That team then solicits an email to your attorney giving the exact code algorithm that the algorithm developers build for the attorney to see, to give to your PR team to go viral. That is why people like Taylor Swift, Beyonce ain't did nothing all year. She got this concert coming up. Next thing you know, you see Beyonce all doing the concert. And obviously it's because it's Beyonce, but realistically, it's just the attorneys on the back end that get the developer and the social media content. That's why you see Beyonce performing everywhere.
Hello?
Once
Is everything
you
okay?
got, oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you had broke up for a second. Go ahead. You there? Erica?
Oh, my bad. That
No.
was my fault.
No.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead. You can keep
Okay.
talking.
In you guys' spare time, you can research. You can research this guy and give him thanks. It's a guy named Haim, Jim Bodak. He is one of the original algorithm developers in history. He's the one that builds the algorithm for the NASDAQ stock exchange and our entire financial system. He's literally one guy that builds all this. So if you ever watch a guy named Haim Bodak, he'll explain to you why a lot of companies are using his intellectual property to create algorithms. So it's like, once you understand that nothing is done unless it's an algorithm, you will submit your resume based on the algorithm. And you want to make relationships too. But to be honest with you, I'm not saying relationships don't matter. It's really the algorithm. Because if you have a relationship with the hiring manager, they're going to take your resume and put it through the algorithm anyway, even though they're cool with you and they're your best friend. So I really, truly realized that most people are not getting tech jobs because they are not building their resume to pass the algorithm. They're just letting everyone know they're talented. They're letting everyone know that they have skill sets. They're letting everyone know they're certified. That worked 20 years ago. Back in the day, you got a job because you knew what you were doing. In today's time, you got a lot of people lying on IT resumes. You got a lot of people lying to get IT jobs. And companies basically hire 1,000 people in 50 states. And like 324 of them don't know the job. So you got market makers who will open up put option positions on those companies because they're not going to meet earnings. And typically that's how companies get shorted in the stock market when they're not doing what they're supposed to do. You got companies like Melvin Capital, Citadel Capital. This is not a buy, sell, or hold recommendation, but they come in and basically find flaws in companies and they'll put like a $20 billion short position on your company to get you delisted out of the market. So companies are like, all right, I got to stay in the stock market. We need to use software to hire employees so that we can just blame the software. You got to think about it. If my name is Bernard Arkansas, the guy that owns Louis Vuitton, and I gave you 35 billion in Facebook, and it's not going the way I want it to go, typically I'll pull out my position. So if I take $35 billion out of Facebook, can you imagine what that's going to do to Facebook company from a stock perspective? That price going to drop crazy. So most CEOs don't want that stock price to drop. So what they do is they make these hiring managers use Yardi. That way, if Yardi hires a bad employee, the CEO can say, well, we use Yardi. They did it. It wasn't my fault. Companies don't want to take the blame of hiring crappy employees anymore. So now they let everything do algorithms to hire you. That way, if I hire you and you don't do the job, I could tell John, who gave me 90 million last week, I could say, John, the software didn't work. Because then John is going to have his attorneys talk to the software owner. Meanwhile, I ain't got to worry about it. So that's the game now. Then also you got these interview managers that then hired the worst employees and their job is on the line. So you got to think about it. I'm a senior engineer. I'm getting paid $300,000 a year. And my boss just told me if I bring one more employee that don't know what they're doing, they're going to fire me. So you will come to my interview, got your hat on, you got everything together, and I would intentionally not hire you because I'm not trying to lose my job. You see what? It's a game. Recruiters get paid money off you working. So some CEOs don't want to hire employees through a recruiter because they got to pay them money. A recruiter may come at you and tell you they give you $85 an hour, but the job really paying $115 an hour. The recruiter gonna make $45 an hour doing nothing on you. HR managers don't like that. So anytime a recruiter hit them up, hiring managers say, no. You trying to make money. I'm not. No, your client is not hired. So meanwhile, you are hired, you are qualified, but then the recruiter and the hiring manager don't got a good relationship. So the hiring manager just saying no just because they had a bad day today, and you qualified. So the strategy is we use LinkedIn to find the hiring managers of these companies. That way we can add them to our LinkedIn profile and we reach out to them. If you're an extrovert, I teach you how to find extrovert hiring managers. It's all about doing business with people who you like, know, and trust. If people don't like you, they not finna hire you. I don't care how talented you are. They not gonna hire you. That's why a lot of tech people don't get hired. You an introvert talking to an extrovert. They ain't gonna hire you. They're gonna feel like you're too quiet. I'm an extrovert. If I talk to an introvert, they're gonna be like, he talked too damn much. So they're not gonna hire me just because I talk a lot. So you gotta find personalities you naturally match with. And at Lifting the Veil, we teach that. I teach you exactly, if you're an introvert, I teach you exactly how to find introverts who are hiring managers. Do you not know an introvert will be happy to talk to another introvert? They will probably hire you because you're an introvert. You see what I'm saying? I'm an extrovert. 9 times out of 10, like let's say right now, if I were to go get a job, let me think of a company. If I were to go get a job at the White House in communications, I like to talk. If I were to meet Joe Biden, he liked to talk. They'd probably give me a job just because I like to talk. But if I was an introvert, they probably like, nah, he too quiet. He probably gonna rob us. He don't like to talk. So I more so structure and teach people how to get jobs based off their personality. That way you don't have to be somebody you're not. I promise you, it's really that technical these days. 10 years ago, 2006, 8, and 9, and 10, it wasn't like that. You could just come in, you got a college degree, you got a resume. They just hired you because your resume was good. But too many people lie on resumes now. So they use technology to hire you. Then what they do is they record your interviews using Otter or Fireflies, and they use machine learning to see if you lying. The AI Otter or Fireflies listen to the interview, and they point out voice inflections, they point out key inflections, and basically if you score a -15 or lower, -15, -20, -30, they're not even gonna hire you. So it's a way you got to do your interviews now. You can't even really like somebody say, hey, Javon, tell me how you would do an ELT pipeline. Oh, well, what I would do is I'll look through the email, I'll see what I have to do, and I'll make sure that I'm following the company's guidelines. The OtterBox gonna pick that up and say he don't know what he's doing. Firefly is gonna say, yeah, he don't know what he's doing. What he did was just leverage the information he heard and use that information in the sentence, but he really didn't dictate, nor did he tell us exactly he knew what to do. And you like, dang, I didn't know the technology was that smart now. So the technology know if you're lying or not. That's why sometimes you would do well on all 3 interviews, and you're like, why didn't nobody hire me? Because the technology saw something that they ain't like, and the technology is telling them what to do. So even though they showed you the back office, they gave you your locker room number, you're going to get that email next week saying, sorry, we went in a different direction. So I know how to fool the algorithm. It's really fooling the algorithm. I promise you, don't nobody care if you know what you're doing. They want to pass the algorithm because the person hiring you don't know what to do. They don't even know how to hire correctly. So everybody's just dependent on Yardi systems, or I think the other one called Playhouse. It's some weird name, but it's 2 systems that hiring managers are going berserk over because it's basically like it has a polygraph built into it and it has different licenses built into it. So they know when you're lying. Even though you could say you worked at Google as a construction engineer using Databricks, They say, well, Databricks ain't come out to 2012. So how does he have a resume of 2009 using Databricks? Like they look at your resume and the AI call your BS. The AI be like, nah, he don't know what he's talking about, because how is he a scrum master when in 2015 they didn't even have Jira available? So how did he use Jira as a scrum master in 2015? The technology, no, now you can't even really lie no more. I promise you can't lie no more. They using behavioral algorithms, they using sentiment algorithms, they following your social media page. They getting API keys from your social media page to build a behavioral profile on you. So even though you come to your resume, you come to the interview suited and booted, they know that you on your Facebook smoking weed. So they know that they basically take
So what
all
let me ask you this: what would they benefit if they were to come to you? How could you help somebody if somebody has no experience? How would you help them? Because it sounds like to me what you're saying is the AI is going to knock them out.
So what you do is, how you bypass the AI is we talk to the hiring manager first. The hiring manager is the relationship killer or builder. The hiring manager a lot of times not use the technology if they know you. So long story short, on my LinkedIn, I got all the hiring managers. I may reach out to a hiring manager and say, hey, what you doing today? How was your day? Yeah, I may just talk a casual conversation. The hiring manager may say, hey, I saw your profile. You accepting any more data engineering positions? I may say something like, what you got? Oh, we got this. I say, well, I can come in and do something for free, so you can see what my skill set look like. I could do something for free. Meanwhile, me saying that, the HR like, you'll do something for free? I'm like, yeah. I come in the office, do something for free. I don't have to go by the AI system. I'm already in the system. I'm doing free work, so the artificial intelligence system is not even going to look at me. When I do the free work, because I offered to do free work, I can show my skill sets, and then I can get hired without the technology telling on me that I'm new to this. Man, it's a way. I mean, it's a way, man. It's definitely a way. But that's why like me, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't have a college degree. I got a 1.67 GPA. I have no degree. So I always had to finesse my way in. I always had to get a job because somebody liked me. If I had to get a job based off credentials, man, nah. I never would have. I don't got no degree. I ain't got no, barely finished high school. I ain't got. So somebody who 45 years old, 50 years old talking to me, they instantly not gonna hire me. I went on 538 interviews, and I ain't get hired not one time, and I had certifications. When I started to really understand the power of relationships, I work right now at Goldman Sachs as a algorithm developer. But the qualifications for the job, you needed to have calculus experience. You think I got calculus experience? Hell no. My homeboy walked me in the room. I cracked the joke. Everybody laughed. Next thing you know, I was sitting on the computer working for free. Tomorrow, my supervisor came and said, Javon, can I get your ID real quick? I'm in trouble. He was like, nah, we can't have you working for free. Let me go ahead and add you to the payroll. Did I have to? I didn't even go through no interview. So that's how I move. I move in a way where somebody just give me the job and I just come in, and next thing you know, the boss see me there. They're like, who this? Oh, this is our new employee. Oh, okay. I don't go on interviews. I'm gonna be honest with you. I ain't did an interview in about 3 years. It's just relationships. I sit down on the computer. I come in, say, let me do it for free. Long story short, I was in real estate tech, long story short. And I was trying to work for a hedge fund in New York. And it was his real estate agent. He does about 20 billion in sales per year. He's an international agent. He like 50 years old, Caucasian male. You clearly know he was the one that people would have picked. He was like, look, give me 5 million a year. I'll come in and turn your business. I was like, bro, I'm not going to win against that. He 50-year-old Caucasian man doing 20 billion in sales per year. And he got a PhD in real estate. My name is Javon Swint. I'm 27 years old. Got no got no college degree, no certifications. How do I go compete against somebody who do 20 billion in sales per year? I said, I'll work for free. The company chose me. The guy was like, he was cussing at me. He was like, how in the F you choose him? He don't even know what the hell he doing. He was like, well, you want $5 million a year. He willing to do it for free. We can just teach him what to do. Spanked his ass. And so I knew at that point, it ain't even about if people are more qualified than you. You come in and say you do something for free, people will just pay you. They got billions of dollars. They're not really finna let you work for free. So my ticket always in the door is I talk to the decision maker. I let them offer me the job. And then I say, look, let me come in for free. Let me show you I know what I'm doing. That way I don't have to go through no algorithm. Because if I go through the algorithm, they ain't gonna pick me. So that's just a little way of thinking a little differently. I don't, I mean, talk y'all ear off, but that's the
Hello. Well, let me jump in real quick because I know we winding down, guys. Shout out to brother Ant right there. Ant just started a position Monday, I think. But anyway, he's one of my students. He stays in. He's always a subscriber. He's always taking classes. Every time I talk to him, he's doing something different. So plus he taught himself a lot of stuff too. So he's a real sharp brother. But he's based out of I think Ohio, and so we got people all over the country. I don't understand the algorithm stuff. I just got networks and the way I move and stuff like that. People actually call me. I get their information when they call me. I then start, people call me. I don't apply for jobs. I had a guy call me yesterday. I said, all right, let me see what you got, and that's it. That's how I get jobs. I don't technically apply for jobs anymore. I haven't applied for a job in years, just like Javon. But people call me every day. So because I've been in the game so long, I do have a reputation. So I want you guys to start really, thinking about this, guys. And remember, if you use code Ericka, ERICKA, you will be able to just take the class for $200 the first month. I mean, $200 ain't that much money. If you're gonna drop that, go ahead.
So they asked how many months was the Salesforce class and how many months is the data science class?
The Salesforce class is 4 months. Data science is 5.
Okay. Data engineering was also 5.
I'm sorry. Did I say data science? I'm sorry. I meant data engineering.
No worries.
Yeah. So it's 5 months. Put it like this: a lot of the data engineering. I don't know if Javon is still here.
One of his handles is, but
Okay.
I guess I muted it.
I'm
So
gonna
he
say
can
this:
come in if
a
he
lot
can.
of I've already taken the DP 900 that you see
Mhm.
on the website. Well, the DP 900, I passed it with a 98% out of 100.
Congratulations.
So I one thing I do know how to do. Exactly, he's still getting calls. So Ant know how to get a job. So we got different ways of getting jobs. But let me say this: I want you guys to understand. I passed this certification with a 98%. I know exactly how to pass the DP 900. I can tell you, do this. These are the books I bought. This is how I studied. And guys, I'm not a genius. I'm not. I don't come on here and act like just because I'm in tech, I'm some super whiz kid with a bunch of bifocals on with up here coding. My idea of fun is sitting up coding all weekend. No, that's not my life. That's not the type of guy I am. And I'm a guy that likes to have fun, likes to travel. I'm country. I have no problem admitting it, right? I'm from Montgomery, Alabama. So I'm not the guy that is a whiz. I had a 1.9 GPA coming out of high school. And so what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to bridge that gap, because if you probably had a higher GPA than me, most of y'all did. And you were probably a better student than I was. And if I can do it, then I know surely you guys, a lot of you guys that are listening, can go ahead and take that risk, because I don't even think it's a risk, really. If you drop $200, you blow that, that's like $6 a day. That's not that much. So, and you're going to get 3 days a week where you're actually going to get live correspondence from us as instructors. And class is going to be anywhere from 2 to, sometimes 2.5 hours. Everything is recorded. And like I said, we start class on Monday and Tuesday. So Monday is the Salesforce class. Tuesday is the data engineer. Javon, are you there yet? I guess he still ain't got his mic up. But
I'm just
yeah,
letting
he
it rock. It's okay.
probably have some
Okay, can
technical.
y'all hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. So Javon, as far as coding, does
Mhm.
data engineering involve coding? Like I took DP 900. I know you have some NoSQL that you do when you start getting into Cosmos, but is it really that in depth? With the certification, I don't think DP 203 is right here. I mean, DP 203 doesn't really involve a lot of code per se, but you do need to have the understanding of each of these modules and stuff like that, like Synapse Analytics. So it's really going into the cloud and using this. It's certain things you're going to use: Power BI, Synapse Analytics, and different things like that. But from you've actually done this. So is this part of the course going to really be code intensive, or is it just going into the cloud and understanding how to operate?
You're really just using the tools. It's like basically walking into a toolbox and learning how to use a drill, hammer, axe, and all that. So it's not really, they getting away from code because people be lying in code, and you'll have like a 15 million line project and somebody then rewrote 2 million lines, but you can't tell. So most people are getting away from code. They're going to no code. So that way they just want you to be trained on how to just use the tool set. Like, for example, a civil engineer who builds highways is not necessarily building a highway manually. They give him a jackhammer, they give him some material, some glue, some adhesive, and then he uses the tools and the technology to build the highway. So that's where we're getting to now, because long story short, like I got a friend who's a coder. I mean, he code for fun, and he literally does projects where he has to build like a 600,000 line program. He work at Raytheon, so he like codes missile programmings, and it's like 20,000 lines of code fire a missile. And he's like, man, look, even though I know what I'm doing, I've been coding for 30 years, it still takes me 6 months to code 600,000 lines, and then it takes me 4 months to read all that. Ain't nobody finna go through all that no more. So they are just making it tool formatted, where the tool does the job, and then the backend engineers review all the work.
And the beautiful thing about Azure is you're not doing a lot of installing on your computer anymore. It's all based into the cloud. You go in, you do Databricks, you do everything on the cloud now. So this is actually a great skill set to have. And every company right now everybody's dealing with the cloud. Everybody's going into artificial intelligence. Everybody's going, like I said, every transaction that you see over the next probably 10 years will be done on the blockchain. We all see what's going on with the BRIC nations, right? They are implementing they're putting blockchain technology, and they're going to back their currency that will be blockchain based with real physical assets. They're saying gold. So that right there tells you that's the future. I ain't gonna say the whole world, but we're not gonna lose all, but we're gonna lose a big piece, which means a lot of those dollars are coming back here. Inflation is gonna shoot through the roof. You need to be making 200,000. If you think you're good making 60,000 because you're living in a certain city where you're comfortable, good luck. Because I remember 10 years ago, you could go like where I'm from, like in Montgomery, you can get like a decent apartment for about $500-600 a month. Everybody's paying $1,500 now. And we used to think that was crazy. I remember a guy got a loft apartment back in 2006. He was paying $1,000. I said, man, you crazy. That's when I was living in Alabama. People are paying $2,500 a month now for the same exact place where he was paying $1,000. It's going to keep going up. BlackRock, all these different hedge funds are buying. They are going to squeeze us out, and particularly African Americans. And so if you don't want to be squeezed out, you need a skill set so that you can go through these economic barriers that they're putting up to be able to get in these circles and acquire land and do certain things. You need to be able to maneuver. But having a skill set that is going away or is somewhat antiquated will lock you in a certain strata. And they're going to go ahead and start making moves, and we're not going to have the resources, because the last thing to go up is going to be salaries. Now I'm taking my salary up. You call me, I'm telling you, I done jacked up by $25 an hour. But I tell my students how to do that. A lot of my students, I got a lot of students at 6 figures now because they might have started at 85, 90, but inflation. I talked to a couple of old students like, man, I ain't gonna lie. They call me, I'm asking for $60 an hour, 65. And they get it. They get $65 because they understand, man, I can't, especially if you live in like Atlanta or some of these other cities. Come on, man. Well, you gonna stay under $2,000 and not have to get worried about getting shot at or robbed or something. And if you're a female, you definitely can't stay somewhere cheap. You have to spend money. You have a certain, because you're a female, so you have to be in a certain area. Well, how hard is that when you making $60,000, $70,000? That's, if rent is $2,000, that's like 2 weeks. You get a whole check after taxes. That's the whole check just to pay rent. So we're no longer living in a world where you could just get by with 70, 60. I'm not knocking that as a first job.
Mm-hmm.
But once you work for a while, I encourage my students to get north of 6 figures. And it's easy with these skill sets we teach. I don't teach no low-level skill sets. We don't do that. So I'm not going to name off the skill sets because I know how people get. When you start naming off these skill sets, people get real offended. No, I know a guy and he makes this. Okay, I'm sorry. So I don't want to say what skill sets don't pay, but trust and believe if it's something that we teach, it's high paying. 2 jobs will easily get you north of 200 to 250. That's the type of skill set we teach. Or 1 job in certain instances, like for example, the AI blockchain, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm about to go. I know we had an hour. So Javon, you got any closing words?
Yes, I want to say, yeah, I got something I want to say. If all these jobs are really paying this much, why am I teaching? That is a very good question, because you would think that, Javon, just get you a tech job since they paying that. I know, right? Well, here the thing is, so I got a startup defense company, and I need sponsorships. And so I saw value in, if I could teach the information and hand you off to a company I know that's hiring. And it's not like a mom and pop, like this, like T-Mobile, Cisco, SpaceX, Capital One, Wells Fargo, Department of Justice, Department of Labor. So this ain't like no small, excuse my language. This ain't no small, I'm hanging out my Mississippi people too much. This ain't This ain't no small situation. You know what I mean? So this is, something realistic. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get sponsorships. So my logic is, if I bring you an employee, more than likely they'll sponsor the stuff I'm doing with government. So that's why I'm teaching it, because my goal is to have the hiring team come into the class as like a soft, informal meeting, not like, all right, let me see who know what's going on. They know everyone entry level. I don't try to oversell it. I say these people just getting used to a computer. So they want to come in entry level, and they want to basically handpick talent because it's hard to find talent. And then hopefully if I bring like a company some employees, then they'll write me a letter of recommendation so I can get me a NASA company.
And let me say this too also, guys. I don't know if you guys are familiar. I had a channel called Subzero 3639, right? And on that channel I had got like 18,000 subscribers. If you go back, well, that channel's gone. It got terminated. But at any rate, anybody that knows me, anybody that's been around, I think Christian and a lot of those people knew me back then. Guys, I first started this class because it's really genuinely a love for African Americans. I can raise my prices, and probably through, we're doing Facebook marketing now, starting to get a little traction. I can actually just not do this, raise my price to $5,000, $6,000 or whatever, right? And there are people that are doing that.
Yeah.
And guess what? But guess what? We're cutting out our people. So the main reason I do this, because I have a genuine love for Black people. I want to see us succeed. And I don't believe that the stereotypes or understand the truth in where we are and what's going on. And I talk about it all the time. I tell people, hey, guys, your average ACT score is 16. Your white counterpart, 21. Your Asian counterpart, 24. So you're behind the 8 ball. So when you go to these colleges and universities, you're probably going to get a major like psychology or sociology because you're not math heavy. Because 6% of us are actually college ready when we graduate high school. That means 94% of us aren't. 84% of us, 86% of us cannot read at a proficient level by the time we graduate high school. See, these are things I have studied. I've studied this. And so when I come in, me having a ministry background, that's what I came from, I see it as an opportunity. And so I made it affordable. Look, man, you sign up, you don't like it, quit. It's just $200. We're going to be meeting with you 3 days a week. We're going to let you in the Facebook group. And if you come in the Facebook group, you got all this other access to other different things. You have networking, different people. And then we sit up there once you're done with the class and try to help you, and you ain't giving us another red cent. And so that's what we do, man. And I'm doing this because I got a love for black folks. Not because I want to grow it to a billion-dollar corporation? Yes, I want it all, damn it. I want a private jet and all that. But at the same time, why not try to help as many people along the way? My focus is not about the money. My focus is about how can I help as many people as I can? Because in my mind, in the way I think and the God I serve, I always thought that God honors and blesses people that try to go out and help others. And you focus on that first. So I try to put people first. I talk to Ant all the time. That brother, right? I talk to him all the time.
It's because people in the comments are asking like, "Oh, do I need a degree? Listen,
Nope.
You guys, relax with the. I see them say that in the comment. Listen, you guys, I had a bot apply for me a bunch of jobs. I got offered a job out from Oracle. Okay, and it ain't even in my field. I'm a finance degree person. Completely opposite. Y'all, listen to these guys. Most of the guests I bring on over and over for the past almost 4 years now. You don't even have the same degree. Sometimes you just got a certificate, get in the door. That companies want to work with people that are willing, ready to educate themselves, ready to go, ready to learn more. That's who they want. People that are ready to get in the door.
Most of my people don't have degrees. I'd say about 40% have. So it's almost half, but I say most don't.
Right. And
Most
also
of the people,
too,
I get a lot of truck drivers. I get a lot of nurses. I get people from different areas, and they're frustrated with nursing. Right. They're frustrated with whatever job they have. If you don't like the person at the job, you want to slap them and cuss them out. Don't do that. Give me a call and we can work this out. You can call me on my cell phone, 678-627-2796. I'll talk to you. I do whatever. I'm not here to try to, it's not about me getting as many people. He's just trying to make money. And the main thing is to make sure that you guys get a good product. And that's why I say I do the Ericka discount and just make it take $97 off, because I'm confident that when you get in this class and you see what we're giving, you'll pay the extra $97. And you still getting it dirt cheap, because you'll know in 4 or 5 months, I took this class, I'm done. Now I have what I have. And like I say, we just finished data science. We were on here talking. People heard and saw this video, and then they went, signed up. Now we got 5 people certified, and we just not starting to work on their resumes. Yesterday we started. We just finished the class on the 22nd of July. So people are passing the certification test. Now we're revving up to go start looking for jobs. But we're working as a team, and they have study groups. These people work together. They meet on their own. They have mastermind groups. You have made a ton of videos, Ericka, about the importance of mastermind groups, and I called you by one mastermind group in particular.
But, and also it's important to listen what you guys were listening to Javon talk about. If you have a company and you're trying to market your company to different bigger boy companies, but yet you have a 200, 300 people available that are ready to be hired, these companies are like, okay, who's this guy? Who's this guy offering me some employees? Who's this network of people?
That's it.
And again, y'all keep asking about felonies. Like, relax about the felony stuff. Y'all know y'all can get expungements, right? Y'all know you can pay like $700.
Give me a call. There's a company I actually have a company out of Florida. Because what these people do with the background checks is a thing called LexisNexis.
Yep.
And so you can opt out. You can get that wiped out. It's a few things. I've seen people do it.
All kind of ways. Like, don't wait till the last minute to get this stuff expunged. It's
but guess what? We make it affordable so that you won't feel like, well, man, I dropped $5,000, because that's what the other companies charge. If you're going to talk to a live investor, not live investor, a live instructor, you paying $5,000 minimum.
Exactly.
Or at least $3,000.
Boot camps too. These boot camps is $5,000 to $10,000
done in a week. It's usually done in like a week. and in a week's time, you're supposed to be able to know what they're doing, what they're looking for, what their requirements are. That no, and I've done that. I took a $2,500 class from Microsoft, and it was 3 days. The guy sat there and went through all the course material. It came through my job. I didn't have to pay for it. But still, if there were people in there that paid for a guy to sit there with a thick accent, he worked for Microsoft, but he had an extremely thick accent, and he went through in 24 hours, and it was just like, I was like, wow. You know what I'm saying? Like that was all 3-day lecture. He just read the material. Yeah, we're gonna cut. This is how you do this. This is how you do that. He would read the chat, answer a couple of questions, but you could go type questions. He wouldn't see them, and you just like, man, this is $2,500. Like, this is crazy. And you got all these people that already have the skills. They're just trying to brush up on certain things. What about people that don't have that? You know what I'm saying? So somebody in Texas saying they can assist you with the felony. Hey, that's good. That's good.
Yeah. If you're in Texas, they said they can help you arrest you.
Give me a call. Give me a call, because I get calls like that from different people. And I would love that. I would send them your way. I get
all the time. And don't wait.
Like that, man.
You can make payment plans on this stuff, y'all.
Exactly. So just let me know if you call me 678-627-2796, because I get calls and I send them to this guy in Florida that helps people. But if you can help them, I'll definitely be glad to send them your way. So that's it. That's all I had. Thanks a lot, Ericka. You've been a godsend. Thank you. God bless you for having me on here.
For sure, man. You helping changing lives out here. That's what. Listen, and we're moving to a point, y'all, where it's like what I was telling the force of average. So it's common sense. Like, man, you can get in tech, right? Like, people gonna start saying it to people. About 5 years, black people, they're gonna be looking at them crazy. Like, man, y'all could have been gotten tech. Y'all could have been gotten these doors while it's easy to get in.
That's it. That's what matters. That's what matters, guys. Is you being equipped and ready and prepared. And I made it affordable where you won't feel like, okay, man, he made a fool out of me. I paid him and I wasn't satisfied. And you unsubscribe with your $200. You didn't lose nothing.
You didn't lose
pretty
anything.
much won. So it's not. And then guess what? Even if you subscribe at the 3rd month, it was $297 a month. By the time you get to the 3rd month, you're preparing for you're starting to study for the actual exam. So we kind of walked you through the actual understanding of how this works to get you into that ecosystem. Meanwhile, you've gotten all this experience with Javon and these classes and these lectures where you can actually, gain some knowledge and wisdom, to where you're able to do this. Once we've done these classes over and over and over, we record interviews. Next time you come into the class, I'm going to record. We're going to play those interviews, because these are the jobs that you're going to be going for. So you need to know, like, okay, I'm studying for the certification, but when I go out there, what type of questions are they going to ask? When I do data analytics, it's only 100 some odd questions they ask. I know all of them. I give them to you for data analytics, not for every class we have, but for data analytics, I give you the interview questions in note card format. That's it. So anyway, thanks, Ericka. I really appreciate it.
For sure. I read off the super chats earlier. Raygun, thank you for the $2 super chat. Thank you, Mal. She said, I just got my Mac for my tech job, sales job, and start Monday. Thanks again, Ericka. Listen, you guys, it's people out here changing their life, working from home, working remote, but you're going to need some skills. Somebody in the comments asked, do I have to have an interest in tech? At this point in life, if you think everything's going to be a passion project, I feel sorry for you.
You don't have an interest. Guess what, guys? I hate coding. I hate working. I would never do tech. If I had to pick what I do, I would not do this. It's not like, oh, I love to code. No, I tell my students, man, I ain't gonna say I hate it, but I don't like it. It's all right.
Everything ain't gonna be making bakery and making cookies and laughing all day. It really isn't. But I'd rather be getting paid $200K than getting paid $30K a year at a job where I don't like it. You dig what I'm saying?
I was watching Dan Locke. Dan Locke talked about that. He's saying, man, get you a $10,000 a month skill set. That's what we're talking about. Then whatever business you want to do, trucking, you want to get into real estate, you want to get into whatever you want to do, guess what? It's always good to have a $10,000 a month, bank statement to walk in the bank and say, hey, this is how much I make. It's so easy now when I walk in the bank to borrow money. I have to, you know what I'm saying? It's easy. I get stuff all the time. They want to loan me money. How you want this? Do you want that? It's easy now. I remember when I used to walk in the bank and they wouldn't, I mean, I couldn't get nothing.
Yeah.
So it's gotten easy because I've gotten to a certain point economically where I can walk in, I got the tax returns, got the bank statements, and say, okay, how much you need? That's how they talk to you.
Yeah.
It's not as difficult. You know what I'm saying? So anyway.
I love it. They're cracking me up. They're like, do you have an interest in being broke? Somebody said, y'all gonna learn the highest paying jobs ain't always sweet. Somebody said, if I would be a cowboy if I could, but the pay's bad and you have to deal with crap all day. That's what I'm saying. People be, oh, do have like you guys, it's just like the army. When people talk bad about the army, I'm like, the army got 700 jobs. If you're a cook and a janitor, that's because you didn't study the ASVAB. That's not nobody else's problem. That's your problem. You know what I'm saying? like
Yeah.
Again, all this tech stuff has multiple layers, multiple jobs, multiple opportunities.
That's
So
it.
you guys listen, make sure you can grab a call with Subzero. You can go on his website right there, Lifting the Veil, ltvacademy.com. You can see his phone numbers here on the screen, 678-627-2796. Again, you can call Subzero or text him on his phone after this video is over at 678-627-2796. And Sub, we'd like to thank him again. He's one of our sponsors of our Atlanta Mixer event. So you guys will see. Okay.
I'll be there.
Some of the opportunities we got coming up and some of the great people that's going to talk a little bit, and then we're going to mix and mingle. So you guys, this is your girl Ericka.
I don't got the information too. Let me know. I don't know where.
Yeah, we send it all out on Friday. We're doing it on Friday morning.
Okay. All right.
So only a limited number of people have the address. No issues, that security.
Yeah, I understand that.
For sure.
Hey, it's crazy in these streets. I get it.
It really is. So just for everybody's safety. Anyway, you guys, this is your girl Ericka from the Classy Climb blog. I'm so excited for you guys to learn with Subzero and check out more information off his page website. But you can also call him there. So you guys, this is your girl Ericka with another Tech Tuesday, just held on a Wednesday. Thank you, Subzero, for your time.
Thank you.
All right, later, you guys.